Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, Lauren, and Danny. Welcome to the Cimorelli Podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Catherine.
I'm Lisa.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren.
I'm Danny.
And we're Cimorelli. Welcome back to
The Cimorelli Podcast.
Love that.
All right, hello, Patreon, the special people of Patreon. Thank you for joining us.
Love them.
Where you're the only ones who get to see this episode. And we saved a really spicy one for you guys.
Ooh.
Because today we're going to be talking about lies about being a social media influencer.
Juicy.
Okay? Never talked about that before.
I don't have that much juice.
So,
Hey, I just want to give a disclaimer that we filmed a really long video yesterday and it was very draining emotionally. No, not emotionally. Physically.
And emotionally.
We all
So today
cried.
I might be a little bit lower
I
energy
cried.
than usual because I'm tired. But just letting you know.
Well, Danny, you're
I'm
an
just going to tell
influencer.
you that it's going to be be There's
Yes,
my
it is.
disclaimer.
You're an influencer, and I
This will be
expect you
entertaining.
to be excited to film.
I'm trying to open
All
my eyes.
right.
Yeah,
so,
come on, lady.
Anyone who's new on Patreon and for some reason you're just seeing episode 7 as the first one, Cimorelli Podcast is an entertaining, uplifting podcast full of advice that has changed our lives and juicy stories, personal topics, and we get real and vulnerable with you guys. So, buckle up. Click. All right, so let's start with our spicy advice Q&A.
All right, our spicy advice question. This is-
Q&A.
As you guys know, because you've seen them on Patreon, these come from you. So the only people that can ask us these are our patrons.
You.
Hey.
Love that.
All right, so today's comes from Jason Z. He says, "How do I talk to females because I'm terrible?"
Oh.
At talking to them. Not
All
that
right.
you're terrible as a person.
I got a
assume.
quick answer for you. 1, introduce yourself. 2, ask them questions about themselves. Done.
Yeah. 3,
Bam. Got it.
try to build up your confidence in your general
gonna say
life.
that.
Like, not just with talking to people, but like, you know what? Here's another thing. Talking to people will also increase your confidence just naturally. Like, if our brother Alex, he like tries to talk to someone in public like every day or something where he always is trying to talk to girls and compliment them in public, and he did that to like make
Solely
himself.
for the exercise of
Yeah,
it.
he tried to like make himself more confident or whatever.
Well,
so
also, he did really want to compliment them. He didn't
Yes,
just
well,
make
yes.
it
No,
up.
I mean,
solely,
sorry.
it's a big.
Partially just for the
I
exercise.
think it's a big circle. So you work on your confidence in your personal life, in many ways. And then you also go out and talk to people sometimes a little bit, little by little, as much as you can. And then it kind of builds upon itself. And makes
But there's not some secret spell on how
Yeah.
to talk to a
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
You literally just
be yourself.
introduce yourself and just talk to them about themselves.
It takes all kinds of kinds. So not hashtag not all
Aw.
I would
women,
say that.
like hashtag all the same thing.
True.
So if someone doesn't respond well to you or doesn't like you, that doesn't mean that you're wrong necessarily. And you really just have to be your genuine self.
Mhm.
And the people that appreciate you for who you are will find you and love
True.
you.
Yeah.
And they'll love you way more than the people that would kind of like you if you were
For
trying to
someone
be
you're
what they
not.
wanted.
Okay, I was just going to say, get a taste, not a taste, but get a tolerance for rejection, going in. Like, it doesn't have to speak any deeper than it is. Like, if someone rejects you, they just reject you. Doesn't mean you're horrible, doesn't mean you're terrible, it just means that
Yeah.
you weren't the right fit. So you just take that and you move on and you try again. And just learn from it,
I think it's really good to have like some questions in your back pocket that you can pull out when you're in a conversation, because I think a lot of people that are more introverted maybe would be kind of scared, like, oh, I want to start a conversation because what if I don't know what to say? So you could even, if you can't think of anything, go online. But I'll give you some examples for what I normally do as an extrovert. I would go up to someone and just be like, hey, this event that we're at together, and like make a comment about the event.
Why are you
and
here?
yeah, like how do you know this person? Or ask something, the thing that you have in common.
What do you
Or,
think
like,
of the
You're
event?
standing on a bus next to them. So are you going to
Work?
No, that might be kind of creepy. Maybe just you got to start, impersonal of just the general thing.
Yeah.
And then you can become a little more personal and say
Then
like,
you can ask for their social security.
Okay.
no, stop. No, and then you can
Kidding.
say like, so like, what do you do? Like, what's your job?
Yeah,
Or where do
I
you go
was
to
gonna
school?
say something really easy, especially for females, is just give them a compliment. Like, if you're talking to someone in public, you're on the bus, you're not trying to be creepy, just be like, oh, I really like your shirt. Or
And
like,
not
you have
like-
really pretty eyes. Or like something.
Not like,
Yeah,
you
but
not
have
like,
really
you have
pretty
really pretty
eyes.
eyes.
Not
but
like
just
she's the
like
most
nice.
beautiful woman I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just something
You
simple.
have to be careful
chill.
about
Choose.
compliments. Yeah, I think you want to
But
be
if you
as
do
like
something
like,
chill,
wow, you look really nice.
Or
That's
like-
not as creepy as like,
Yeah.
Or like cool shoes.
Or like your
You
hair
look
is
so
hot.
cool. You can use the word cool. It's great. You're like cool shoes or like cool
Yeah.
outfit or something. Cool is a great.
Yeah.
No,
great
but
word.
like as
Sick
a
fit.
yeah,
Yeah.
sick fit. That's
no,
a great
but
one.
like as a single person a year ago, anytime a boy would be like, "Oh, I like your whatever, like your hair or whatever," people would definitely say that to me before. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then it made me like want to speak to them. Like if they were to continue to talk to me, it just makes you feel better.
Yeah, I think there's levels of compliments. Like if you already know them and you're trying to get out of the friend zone, then you
Yeah.
can kind of maybe make it a little more personal.
Yeah.
But if you don't know them and you literally
Yeah.
are on a
Keep it
public
Keep it
place,
casual.
just do something really chill and casual. But you can
Um,
always say like, "Oh, what'd you think of the Chicago Cubs game?" You know, like something that's like something that happened in your town, or just think of something you have in common. And then from there, maybe you could share, like from there in the conversation, you could share something about yourself. Like, yeah, I've been studying botany lately and I learned some new things. And you could just, so first you
is
ask
this
them about them,
person?
but if you just ask them about themselves, you never share about yourself, that could feel kind of weird.
If you don't know what to say to someone and you're really confused about what questions to ask them, which I felt when I was trying to talk to boys when I was 15, just think, what do I want to know about them? That's all you have to think. And then you will instantly come
What
up
if
with
it's
questions.
their social
No,
security
not
number?
weird things,
Okay.
guys. You always take it to the
Okay,
extreme.
I get to talk. Let me talk now. Okay, so 3 things here, kind of that were mentioned. I'm going to sum it up for you. So, the actual appropriateness of human relationships, I think sometimes if you are really shy about this, you might not have had enough experiences like growing up, which is not your fault. So I think you need to learn like what's appropriate and what's not. Like surface level things are appropriate at first. Don't go like too deep too fast. And I think you need to like actually maybe even research that. People write books about this stuff
The
and
7
figure out
levels of intimacy.
figure out like what's actually appropriate
Yeah.
and how to like learn about human relationships. It might be like, why should I have to learn about that? Isn't that weird? But a lot of people just don't learn it from like their childhood. So don't feel bad if you have to learn that. And then like confidence and rejection, I think that's a huge thing. With rejection, you just gotta really think about it. Like when you reject someone else, you don't normally mean like, wow, that person is the worst person I've ever met. They're never gonna be
No.
appealing to anyone. That's not normally what you mean when you reject someone. It's more just like, oh, this isn't right for me. So I think if you get your mind right with rejection, you figure out about human relationships, and then you work on like confidence and knowing who you are.
Yeah.
That's really all you need to do.
Perfect package.
Get to know yourself, because I don't know why people think this lie is true that just some people's personalities are just trash. I mean, if you look at all little kids, like 2, 3, 4-year-olds, they're all pretty freaking similar. Like all kids are awesome. They're all awesome. And then you grow up and then you change into something that's maybe not as awesome, but it's not because that's who you are. It's because that's just something that you're becoming that's not who you are.
Love that.
So I think you got to realize, like, in your roots, in your heart of hearts, that's what the priest used to always say, you have an awesome personality if you'll just get to know it. Stop believing that you don't and, like, being insecure about it. So just, I think those are the 3 main things, and I think you should do a little work, research, and then I think you'll be good to go.
And I
Yes,
would like
love
to
it.
say that I bought this putty for $1 at Target, and it's so stretchy and satisfying, and I'm definitely gonna be repurchasing. 5 stars.
All right, that's quite
Okay.
enough. So let's go to the
movies.
Let's go see the stars.
Are you okay?
Free concert.
All right, that's also enough. So let's do the topic of conversation for today. I already told you guys what it was, which is lies about being a social media influencer. All right,
Love
so let's jump
that.
in. First,
Let's just jump right into the video.
you don't work.
All right, so you look at the YouTubers, you look at the videos, you think, wow, man, this must have just happened instantaneously. They must have just filmed this in their bedroom, edited it for 20 minutes, and posted it. And now they're
No, I
done.
don't even think they think about like editing and stuff.
Probably not.
I don't
No.
think people realize that. I mean, if you ever tried that, if you didn't know this, like, have you ever tried to have like
Edited
good
video?
Instagram posts and a good video that you filmed and edited in a week, and then whatever else the heck you have to do? There's a lot of behind the scenes things. Most of these people have like a team of some sort, like assistant, manager, maybe like an agent. I don't know all the different things they might have, and then people have like their brand deals, which you have to. Normally, like, the manager will get them or a different company. So there's that whole thing, management of brand deals going on, which you don't know all the stuff that goes into that, but it's just a lot of different stuff like negotiating and then figuring out what you're doing and then making the post and then posting the post and then blah, 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 whatever. And then sifting through the millions of emails that you get a day. That's a lot of stuff. And then seeing what you should actually do, because people have to pay their bills, right? And then what else? There's
Also, there's a lot of influencers end up making their own products. So usually there's some type of like
Whatever you're selling.
merchandise, or it could be another type of product, like they
And you
have
think
a
it
book
makes
or
it
something.
sell?
Okay, here's an
That's a lot of
example.
work.
Here's an example. People who post really good Instagram pictures every day. Like, I cannot keep up with Instagram. I try to
hard.
post every day, but it is so freaking hard. Like, some girls who I see, I just know that they spend the bulk of their time preparing and editing and posting their Instagram pictures because
Yeah.
they post every single day these great pictures with
takes a
great
lot.
outfits. Picking out an outfit, figuring out where you're going to take the picture, making
Doing
a
your
plan,
makeup.
having friends. Okay, first of all, not even if you don't have friends, and like going and driving somewhere, picking something,
That's
doing your
long.
makeup, editing the picture, picking a caption
Editing
for
the picture
can
take
take
so
hours.
long.
Editing a picture for me, I can like do it and then come
Especially
back.
with all
and
this
then do it again.
Facetune, people can
Yes,
take a
Yes,
long time.
people Facetune.
Oh yeah, and
So
people edit
long.
their Instagram stories now, and they
Yes.
edit
It's a
it
lot.
in a separate app before they post
Yeah.
it, which is a lot of extra time.
Guys,
And
it
how
gives me
many-
anxiety. I
A
can't.
lot
How
of
many
these
hours-
influencers are literally online.
All the time.
They're online responding to people or editing and doing
Oh,
stuff all
Don't
day.
forget the communication you have to actually keep up with your fans. Like that
Yeah.
can be hours,
Yeah.
and I've spent like a lot of hours a day on some days, like responding to you guys. Like sometimes I'll
Mm.
spend like 4 hours straight just sitting there,
Yeah.
Oh,
and that's 4 freaking hours.
Editing a video, even like a non-music video, can take like 10 hours, which
No,
you don't do
sometimes
all in
more
one
than
day.
that.
Oh yeah, it could take 15, 20
Take
for a
a
second.
No
couple
one
days.
would guess that. Probably
Some-
think it takes like an
Well,
hour.
some people's vlogs are so intense they'll spend like multiple days working on it, like all
straight.
day. Like it's very
All
First,
day, yeah.
just filming, also, and then also editing.
For
Mhm.
mine, I'll usually spend like 2 to 4 hours a day on a video
Mhm.
for like
for like
3 to 5 days.
yeah.
You know what the
same.
biggest thing is? Okay, the biggest thing is you make your own schedule. No one makes it for you. So picture yourself and picture school and picture how hard it is for you to do your homework. Think about if you had nothing going on every day and you just had this whole thing of work you had to do every day. Would you really do it? That's what an influencer is like. You have all this stuff you have to do or you should do or you could do,
don't
or else
necessarily
you
have
ain't going to
to,
pay the
yeah.
bills. You have to make yourself do it. It's not like, oh, it's perfectly fun all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Because after a while, it's like, I'm doing my job. I have to get paid. I have to do this. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah,
Well,
right?
and not to mention that literally being a social media influencer is you're on a hamster wheel. So you spend
Yeah.
hours putting together this video or whatever it is, editing it, and then making it perfect, and then you put it out, and then like a minute
And then you
later,
do it
people
again.
are like,
Right on to the
"So,
next
what are you gonna
one."
do next?"
Yeah.
It's
What's
like,
your next thing?
so
Oh.
it's like you put all this
You wanna
time
go
in
next?
for something that is very short lived, and then you have another thing,
Not
and you're
to
just
mention-
constantly like trying to keep up.
Not to mention research. Like,
Oh, yeah.
people also, like, I do this. I think a lot of us
Oh,
do this.
yeah, I do.
Researching what song you're going to cover, researching what kind of video you should do. If you're going to do video, researching the stuff that
Ideas.
you're going to
Like,
talk
what
about in the
the
video.
trends
Ideas for the
are.
video,
Aesthetic
what the trends
ideas.
are. For Instagram, what kind of pictures, whatever. There's so many
Your
things that
fans,
people research.
researching your
Guys,
fans, like doing
Downloading
polls
new
and figuring out
editing
what they
apps
like.
and
This
like
is
making
why-
new presets.
This is why I recently almost completely stopped editing my pictures. They're like, oh, I added some contrast. That's it.
Also,
I gave up.
this might be kind of dumb sounding, and people might kind of laugh at this, but whatever. I'm probably the worst example of this, but there's a lot of social media people. Think about it, like, how did they look so perfect? Like, I feel like I don't really have an inclination to put that much effort into my appearance, but I do put in a minimal amount. But then as a social media person, I feel like I have to put in so much more than I normally would. And I don't put in very much compared to a lot of these people. Like, the picture amount of time that they spend learning how to do their makeup, getting their nails done, like,
Oh,
like
Oh my
working
gosh.
out,
Your
picking out
appearance,
perfect outfits,
working out,
shopping.
your hair, your extensions,
That's
dyeing
insane.
Oh my
hair.
I just
gosh.
can't even.
Basically,
Skin
most of
stuff,
these people, their whole
treatments.
life
It's
revolves
never
around
ending.
It. All the
Yeah.
time.
And it's
Which-
around their image, which is really
Which
sad.
goes into my lie thing that I was going to talk about, which is that influencers just have so many friends and their life is just full of fun activities and events and blah blah blah, which
It's
I
so
cannot
freaking
cannot
fun.
speak for everyone on the internet. But in
Yeah,
my
we
experience,
can. No,
in
we
my
can't.
experience with the people that we know in this industry,
Which is a lot.
it's like your whole life. I mean, it's a full-time job is what it is if you're
Mhm.
doing it
It
like
never
to a certain degree,
stops.
and it never stops.
You
So
can't
on the
go home.
weekends, at
Mm-mm.
nights, in the mornings, it's not like 9 to 5, you're done. Ooh, let me go hang out with someone. It's like this is your whole life. So most people don't really have time to like make friends or like go out and like do a bunch of things. We have a different story because like we are. How do I?
Because we have a team, so we get to split up responsibilities.
Yeah, we have 6 of
Yeah.
us
Among
And
six.
we
You
don't
know?
put so much into the image side
Yeah.
of it, so
Mhm.
we don't have.
We
as
have
much
more
pressure
time.
on
But
us.
some people, it's like you'll notice they have like one person that they post about or like 2 people that they post with because they don't have time to just go and be this social butterfly
Yeah.
because it's like
Because
their
it's scary.
full
You're
job.
like, am I missing out?
Oh yeah.
What if I
yeah.
don't post? What if I don't do this?
Yeah.
like there's always new people coming up, like literally every day.
Yeah.
New influencers are like cropping
Someone's
up. So
gonna
it's
take
like,
your spot.
crap, someone's gonna get my spot. I need to keep posting. I need to stay relevant. I need to stay
Yeah.
interesting. I need to stay exciting. It's a lot of pressure when there's new people who
much
have this
pressure.
energy because they're so excited because they
And-
just started. So you're like, oh my gosh, am I gonna lose my following right now? So you can't just be like, oh, I'll just take a week or whatever. I'll take a month off. They'll be there.
Just
You
don't-
don't know
no
they'll be
flexing.
there. You have no idea. How quickly do you unfollow people because you're like, I've had enough of their pictures. Even though I followed them
Even
last
if you
week.
go on vacations, like if you go
It's
to the
still-
beach,
Wait, I want to say
you
something
go
on
somewhere
vacation.
else.
Imagine you see these people like, oh my gosh, I'm in Bora Bora with It Cosmetics or whatever. Like this company
Oh my
sent them there to
gosh.
have fun. But imagine, okay, you're on vacation. You like, oh, you wake up, you're like, I want to go to the beach. So you put on your flip flops and you go to the beach.
You walk to the beach.
Now imagine you wake up, but you do your hair and makeup for 2.5 hours. So you've been sitting there wanting to go to the beach this whole time, but you've been working on your appearance as the sun is getting higher and higher in the sky and you're missing it. Then you go out
timing
there.
it with the
you
perfect
have
timing
your-
of the sun.
Oh yeah, and you have your perfect outfit on, so you're like, oh crap, I'm getting sand in my shoes, I'm getting this, my hair's
I'm
getting
getting
messed up.
oily.
I can't enjoy it. Now you have to take a million
Or make a
pictures, and
video.
You
in
have to get a
million
good
spots.
one.
You have to film this thing. Oh, you have to try this new product, blah blah blah. And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, now it's time for the influencer lunch or whatever. So you
So
didn't
you have
really
to
get
go to the
swim
lunch. You can't really go by
Yeah.
at all.
yourself. Yeah.
Then you have to go to the lunch or whatever. Now it's like you're doing all these planned activities where it's like, oh, doing your makeup sounds fun,
It's a
but not when you
vacation.
want to go swim.
Yeah.
It's like you the whole time you're like at the beach, but you barely get to enjoy any of it, and then you get home and now you need a vacation from your vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
You're
You're so
only thing
tired.
fun and relaxing are the pictures that were posted, not the actual
Yeah.
experience,
And
honestly.
people might be like, well, why do people have to look like that? It does not the looking part, but like things don't have to look good. But if nobody is following people who have all these blurry, dark, weird
Yeah.
pictures
Yeah.
and weird videos that aren't
No
well
effort.
made.
Except for me.
No, that's not it.
That's
That's
not even
not what I'm
it,
talking
Lisa.
about. No one is. You're not following one account that every picture is butt ugly on.
Unless it's your
You're
like
not.
close
Except
friend.
for me. I'm just kidding.
Okay,
Yeah.
an influencer. It doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So
it
don't
doesn't
even.
exist.
So don't be like, oh no, we don't care about that. People do because you want to see things that look like pleasing to your eyes. So it's not like I don't think the over top thing needs to happen like with your appearance and everything, which we'll talk about in a sec. But
Yeah.
people want to see something that looks semi good. You're not like I want to live in an ugly room, looks like a trash can. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, and you have all this added pressure of people literally kind of taunting you all the time about like, oh, you're irrelevant, or oh, you're
Oh,
this. Like if you have to do
yeah.
this next, like oh, I
she's
know what you
losing
should do.
followers.
Oh, you didn't gain this much. Oh, your new
That was a
video
bad
not
move. I
doing
know she should
good.
have done this.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
one wants to take a break because they're like, crap, I'm already fading away.
Yeah.
It's really stressful.
Yeah, it's like social media is like a mean master.
Yeah, we weren't.
It's like whip, whip, whip.
It's not like a job you can like quit or get fired. I mean, you can quit, but you can't like keep your job and it's guaranteed, or like signing a lease.
There's no
12-month
job
lease.
security.
There's
Yeah.
no security.
And
Oh, yeah,
like
go
a
ahead.
9 to 5, you can't just like most people like they go to work 9 to 5, they go home, they relax, they watch Netflix, hang with their friends, whatever. With social media, it is consuming. It's all consuming. You always have your phone. You're always reminded, I should be on Instagram replying to comments. I should be posting this. I should be making this new thing. It never ends. And I can say this from, I don't feel like don't really do this much, but people we know,
people
our
we know.
friends who are
Oh,
influencers,
yeah.
it's like, gotta like focus
Especially
on it.
When your fans are young and you know that your fans are literally glued
On
to
their
their
phone
phones
all
all
the
day,
time.
so you're like, crap.
I gotta
I
do
gotta
it
be
too.
like
It's
keeping
so
their
much
attention.
constant FOMO.
Do we say another lies? It's all fun. That we kind of went into
kinda
that.
went into that, yeah.
We're saying it ain't all fun. Sometimes it's fun,
No.
but when you make it into a job, it's not that fun. I just think people should try to like live as an influencer for
Yeah,
a
oh my
day, a
gosh.
week, and they'll be like, "Dang, this wasn't as fun as I
It's
thought."
hard.
Yeah.
When I'm at a concert and I'm watching, the time when I'm really enjoying it is when I'm not filming and I'm dancing, I'm jumping around, blah blah. So imagine basically your whole life is being at a concert and like
Have-
filming
you
and
have to film.
posing
Yeah.
the whole time, and then when the concert's over, and I don't know, some of you really like to film a whole concert, so maybe you don't even know the feeling of not filming, but when you film the whole time, then you're like, crap, I missed it, like I wasn't even there.
Yeah.
And that's how it feels when you go somewhere and you're taking pictures the whole time and
Yeah.
you're posing and you're worrying about your hair. It's like, oh, I wasn't even there.
Mhm.
Or you're like, oh, we just went and got ice cream, did a photo shoot with it. You don't even remember what the ice
Yeah.
cream tasted like.
There's a moment in the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty where this big photographer guy is like chasing this rare snow leopard for like months and months. And then he finally finds it, and then he like puts the camera down and he doesn't even take a picture. And he's
looks
like,
at it.
sometimes you just have to, I don't remember the exact line, but he's just like, you just have to let the moment happen. And it's like,
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what it is to be a social
That is
media
the literal
influencer.
opposite. They're like, capture the moment at all
No,
costs.
and they're like, I didn't even find a snow leopard. It wasn't cool at all, but I'm gonna pretend that I loved it and
I'm
make
gonna
it look
face
fun.
tune it into a
Face-tune the
snow
snow
leopard.
Yes. Wow.
They're like, I
you're
saw a cat.
Sorry.
but
They're like, I had a
FaceTimed."
terrible time. I was really stressed out and worrying about how my butt looked and how my hair was the
Oh.
whole time. But I'm gonna say that I had the time of my life. I'm so happy I went to this place, even though I came home and cried.
Amy
Yeah.
has something?
Well, I mean, the thing that makes it different, I think that people don't understand is the fact that you have to be like an entrepreneur. Like you're running a
That's what I
business,
was
and people
saying.
don't
yeah.
understand how much pressure there's.
Yeah.
Like the normal CEO, most people are not a CEO.
I'll
Not
go
not
with
if,
that one.
not to be offensive to most people, but it's like they're
They
not
know
running these
that,
companies. They're not like they have somebody taking the heat. They have somebody up at the top giving the
Also, I gotta
directions,
say,
giving the
wait,
orders.
Can I say most people don't want to be CEO, but then they start this probably, and then they become
They're
an
like,
accidental
"Rip."
CEO, and they're like, "Whoa, I have all of these things that
Yeah.
I did not know were gonna happen."
Okay, listen to this. Amy's right. You're a CEO when you're doing this. What if you hire someone to manage your stuff? Like a business manager, a lot of people have, and a manager in general. Do you even know you can trust them for sure? Do you
No.
really know? What if they're not paying you like the actual amount? What if they're like stealing your money? You
Yeah.
don't know what's happening, right?
Mhm.
So you want to learn about yourself. What if you can't? Think about how most people run their own lives. How do you run your finances, your household, your schoolwork, everything you do, whatever? Most people are in debt doing really bad job managing their money. They don't even know how much money they spent this week or this month. Just like, oh, I'll just not look at it. Imagine being an influencer and having to actually keep up with all that stuff. And like, you should do that on your normal life anyway. But imagine you don't have a job where you know you're going to get paid a certain amount a month. So you're doing all these extra things like Amy's saying. Like you have to be like an accountant, or I mean, you hire people, but you don't actually know if you can trust them or if they're actually working for the good of your life. So I mean, I don't know if people can really get that, because people don't even get that with their own lives, that you should be like the CEO of your own life, your own household, your own finances. Most people don't do that. They don't give a rip. I don't know why. But yeah.
And add on the pressure that all your friends are bumming off of you and you're paying all of their bills all the time. They don't do
Wait,
Who
anything.
does
don't do
that?
that.
No, Lauren.
Some
Some
people do, though.
We don't have-
We
okay,
don't do that.
but
No, I'm
we-
not saying us. I'm saying a lot of influencers are paying for like
That's true.
15 people.
Because they feel like bad.
But that's a
Yeah.
lot
And
of okay.
A lot of them too end up supporting their entire families, like
Well,
their
yeah, 'cause
parents
they come
too.
from small towns, and they're just like,
Or they're like for instance Michelle Phan. She said that when she became an influencer, she was supporting her entire family.
yeah,
That's so
So,
much
like-
pressure.
Yeah, but she said she was happy to do it, but she did say it was very stressful.
yeah, I'm sure.
Well, it's different because this is like I think the only career in the world, and I could be wrong with this, but I'm pretty sure it is. Don't quote me on it if I'm wrong. But you're the CEO and you're also the product. CEOs sell
Yeah.
physical
weird.
things.
You're selling
Like
yourself.
even if you're an actor or a musician, like a musician, they're not really a CEO. Like they have a manager, they have a
They have
label.
a
Like
label.
they're not the like they don't have
Yeah,
to
the
be on
music,
social
that's
media. The
true, yeah.
music is the product. You are the product on social media. Like it's a lot
Mhm.
different, and it's all about you and your personality. Whereas acting, you're
Yeah.
playing a part. Music, it's just like whatever you want to give out to people. It's
In
different.
acting, you do your movie or whatever for several months. It's really intense, and then you make $40 million. Not everyone, but and then you take a break for a year or whatever. You don't have to do it all the time.
Well, I
every
have to do
single
like
day.
press.
What?
Press.
Yeah, press
Yeah,
is wild.
right. But that's like a
We-
certain time period, and then you're done.
We should do a disclaimer also, because
Oh,
probably
yeah,
some people are like,
I was thinking about this.
why are you whining about your job? Whatever. We're just trying to tell you the lies of social media.
Also,
But we're not saying this is so much harder than being a nurse or something. We're not
No.
saying that. Know that we're not whining about it. We're just talking about the difficulties, just like you would talk about the difficulties of your own job. We're just trying to put it out there because you don't know, because you haven't done this. So
Mhm.
just take it or leave it.
Well, yeah,
whatever.
we're just trying to take things that a lot of people think about social media and tell you that it's not true. Although I would also like to say that I feel like we have found a good way
Yeah, that's
around
what I was
a
gonna
lot
say.
of these problems, especially the
True.
image ones. So we don't face necessarily as much
These
of the
things that we're
stress
talking
as a
about.
lot of people do because we've taken it off of our shoulders.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I used to put on myself.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, I just don't want people to look at like the social media influencer life and feel bad about their life and themselves
Yes.
because people make it look so perfect and easy. Like,
Yeah.
every job
yeah, it's
has
work.
hardships and struggles. Like, it's work. So
Yeah.
don't think that it's just like this perfect life and that you should have this perfect life because other people portray it that
Yeah.
way.
All right, so another one, that you always look the way, or that influencers always look the way they do in their pictures. Like, oh, that's just who they are, and that's what they look like. They woke up like that, blah, blah,
No.
blah.
You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about those like fitness / like just pretty girls, like models, whatever, on Instagram, and how people are like, oh my gosh, like she just looks like that. I was thinking about one in particular. I'm not gonna say who it is, but just one of them that people must think like, oh my gosh, she's just like that. Like that's just who she is. But this girl works out like 3 times a day for like 2 hours every time. That's like 6 hours of working out. Yeah, she works out
That ain't right.
legitimately
That's her life.
all day.
Working
So it's
out.
not even like she. And obviously, some people are just born skinny, but like she wasn't just like didn't just happen. Like she's not just like that. Like she works out all day, every day. So some people would look at that and be like, man, she just takes pictures of
She's
herself.
lucky.
She's just perfect. She's so lucky. But no, she literally does that all day.
I thought you were gonna say several girls who recently got exposed for facetuning themselves so much that they show the real picture. It doesn't even look like the same
that's so
person where they
sad.
facetune every picture that way. It's like I saw the real picture and I was like, wait, what? I wouldn't know that was the same person in real life.
They gave themselves. They literally took like 10 pounds off
Like,
or
no,
a new
and,
body
like,
type.
New face, new nose, new everything.
Like,
It's you
new
look like-
everything.
I think it's so cool that James Charles like facetunes his pictures like so beautifully, really. But he talks about it all the
Tells
time.
everyone.
On
He does his
YouTube,
videos on it.
And he does videos of himself talking all the time where you can see that's
and he'll
not what
post
he really
like,
looks
"Ooh,
like.
here's the Facetune, here's the real one." Like he always talks about that. which is
Also,
cool.
there's a phenomenon that I like to call trick poses.
Oh, this is so true.
And there's all these poses that you can do, like certain ways you can like have
look
your
into the
arms and your
side.
leg
Your
and your
legs.
body to
Yeah.
make outfits look better,
Make
to
you
make
look
your
s-
body
a
look
certain
better,
way.
to like make your face like. There's so many different
yeah.
ways people pose specifically that makes them look different.
Even just like if you're like me and you have a bit of a soft jawline, then like if you look down, then it
Relatable.
looks a certain way. But if you look slightly up, it looks a certain way. Or if you get the shadow on you a certain way, then it looks like your chin is sharper than it is.
I feel like we kind of touched on that earlier of like, and even without face tuning and all the fake tricks or whatever, like some people do really look absolutely incredible in real life.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you knew what went into it, the hours and hours, I don't know if you would really want to dedicate that much of your time because that might really start to mess with your head if you have such a high standard of how you should look.
And then you start missing your whole life because all you're doing is preparing to be seen and you're not like living and doing fun
Yeah.
things.
So
And I feel it kind of deletes the whole thing of like natural beauty. Like everyone, there's a lot of influencers who post pictures with no makeup, obviously. Like there's a lot of models who do that. So I feel like you guys should not take this and be like, man, people who look so beautiful all the time, like it's just because they did their makeup. It's just because they wore
No.
extensions. It's like, yeah, of course they look beautiful like that, but also like in my opinion, I think a lot of us think that like everyone has their own unique face and their own unique beauty.
Take
and
care of
you
yourself.
take care of yourself and put a little effort into just self-care, and then you will feel that
yeah,
way. You know?
that is beautiful.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
if you're
it's like-
taking care of yourself, you will be
You
beautiful.
will be.
Period.
It just happens.
Like, period. Just
Yeah.
take care of yourself.
Health.
Love yourself with your actions.
How
All right,
does pretty
Kath had
when
a
they smell bad. I'm just kidding.
true. Catherine had a funny one,
This
which
is
is
so weird.
another lie is your height.
Okay, we were talking about what lies, like
Okay,
Amy?
not hers. That
Okay.
ain't a lie.
My head is not a lie.
Okay, we were talking about like what lies, for social media, whatever. And immediately I thought it's not a lie, but like this is not a lie, but this is just like I realized after meeting a lot of social media influencers that almost everyone, there's a couple exceptions, looks way taller in pictures than they do in real life. Like they just look like
I
these
hope I do.
tall. Maybe it's like how
We
they
do.
elongate their bodies.
I
Well,
wonder-
we actually are tall
Guys,
though.
Oh, people
no,
always
guys.
say, I thought you were going to be so much taller.
No,
That is
people
so-
tell me
wait.
you are so tall.
I was gonna say people always
They
tell
don't
us
say it
that
to
we're so much taller in real life. I'm like, do we just have like a tall perception and we think everyone should be taller?
Wait, they told me they
What?
thought I would be taller.
See,
No.
I hear people
No,
tell
people
me all
say
the
I'm
time,
tall.
"Wow, you're so much taller in real life."
Wait, people all the time call us all tall.
They
And
call me tall all the
I'm
time.
like,
So
yes,
tall.
Amy
yes,
is
I am.
not tall in case you didn't know that.
Hey, I'm very tall.
How
So,
tall
yeah.
are you?
I just
Like
thought that was
third
funny.
percentile.
No,
like-
how tall are you?
I'm 4%.
Wait, Amy's
Amy's
third
taller.
percentile, and I'm like 97th or something.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
75th.
a lot of-
Together we make 100.
Yeah, like a lot
Oh!
of boy influencers, I feel like they look like they're like 6 feet and then they're like 5'7"
person,
or 5'8". It happens a lot.
They're very small.
Or like girls, they look like they're like 5'7" and then they're like 5'2", and you're like, whoa.
Let's talk about the last one. It makes you happy. Social media and all that makes you happy. This is such a fat lie.
Well-
In fact, most of the people that I know and know of are completely declining mentally, and
really
it's not
sad.
making them happy. It's just like anything else in your life, though. It's not that thing. It's more just like if you have problems and like you focus them in this area, they're just gonna intensify. So I mean, everyone has their problems.
I will say that though there is an aspect of it that makes people really happy, which makes us really happy, which is having a positive impact on people, getting positive
Yes.
messages from people, having people share things about themselves with you, whatever. That aspect, I think, is honestly one of the only things that, besides like being able to create stuff, but like that aspect is one of the only ones that genuinely I think would make someone happy, like fulfilled, like deep down.
Like
to
when
do
you
it.
say
I
the
think-
happy message, the positive messages, you don't mean you're so pretty. You mean
No,
like
that's not what I mean.
when you
Like, you
said
changed
this,
my
it
life.
changed me in this
Yeah.
way.
But I think it always starts though from someone doing something they're passionate about. Like someone
Yes.
loves fashion, so they post these outfit pictures. Someone loves music,
Yes.
so they're doing music.
Okay,
like,
that's what
those
I'm
things,
saying.
Doing what you love
That makes
definitely
you
is a
happy.
part of making
Yes.
you happy.
But I'm just saying that
But
like, I don't want to be like,
fulfillment-
oh man, nothing about this makes us happy, like because
No, it does.
because we get to do.
Well, it's funny when we're talking about this, I wasn't actually thinking about us most of the time. I was thinking
That
about
is
other
true, yeah.
people.
I feel the concept, like Lauren just said, the concept of doing something you love, getting to interact with people you don't know over the internet, that's cool. Like making these like pseudo friends over the internet, like that's a cool, really cool concept. But
What
I'm
does
saying,
that mean?
I mean, like, because you can't hang out with them in real
saying
life.
it's
So
a
it's like
different
internet
thing
friends.
that didn't
Yeah.
exist before.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like in 1990, you couldn't do this.
it wasn't a thing.
So it's a really, really cool concept, and I think that when you do it at its purest form, you
It
will
can
be
be good.
so happy. But
Yeah.
the thing is, it starts out like that, like you just
Yeah.
said, and then it just kind of
It takes
twists and molds into
form.
this sad thing because they take these really good things, like creating something or like doing fashion or making music or whatever.
And it's like pressure,
And it's like pressure. Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
I need to live up to people's expectations. I need to be better than this person. I need to have this number, blah, blah.
Or like I need the validation.
And
it becomes
then-
like a drug.
Yes, and then the interacting with people also gets bad because you
Scary.
interact with these people and then some of them are mean to you,
Oh,
or a lot of them are
yeah.
mean to you, or
people turn on you.
you hurt
They
people on
always
accident.
do.
Yeah, it's like all these.
You make
or
a mistake in front of
or-
everyone.
you take the audience like, and you don't take it seriously, and then you influence people really poorly, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I think a lot of people actually probably realize this. Like, I just made a lot of people's lives worse. So it's like at its purest form, yes, I think it's a wonderful thing, and I think
But that's rare.
we're pretty close to like its pure form because we've kind of been in this for so long that
yeah,
we've
I want to wrap
weeded
that
out
up
a
with
lot
that.
of negativity.
I want to wrap it up saying that
Yeah.
we've been here for like 10
10
years. If
years.
you've noticed,
10,000
most people
years.
who started when we started are not here anymore because it like took them out or they
Yeah.
took themselves out through
Yeah.
this. It's very, very, very difficult. I don't know almost anyone who's doing this and really thriving. And it took us a long time to be able to say like we're thriving at this and we still have things we're working on.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not the rule. This is the exception. But we put so much hard work and years of therapy into being
Literally.
able to
Yeah,
do
'Cause
this.
it's mental
'Cause it's
stamina.
hard.
We put so much into this to
Yeah.
be at like a fulfilling and like good positive place. So, but I think you do that with any job if you like try
Exactly.
really
Yeah,
hard.
Exactly.
Well, I want to say something. When you
All
talk
right,
about
let's do
like
this.
what makes you happy, my personal opinion from what I've seen, I think God is what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that is a very vague statement, so I'll break it down quickly. What makes people happy is doing something that gives them purpose, like their career or a volunteer opportunity, something in your life that you're influencing and helping other people. And the other thing that makes you happy is having fulfilling relationships
Yeah.
and like deeply connecting with other people
Those two things.
and having love. And to me, all of that stems from God. You may have a different perspective if you're
Mhm.
not religious, but I would say being a social media influencer actually is a great obstacle to both of those things. Or it can be a tool. And I think
Mhm.
most people don't use it.
Yes.
They don't realize,
hard.
like, oh, I have all these people following. I could actually impact them. So when you realize that, it can be amazing. But it's not necessarily easy. And I actually think it's an obstacle a lot of the time.
Okay, guys, we have a lot more we could say on that, but we're gonna wrap that
cut
segment
there.
up. But I mean, if you have questions on it, you can ask us, and maybe we'll put them in another video or something.
What's your question?
Never know, or an Instagram caption. You never know. So we're gonna go to our last segment, which is called Sister Spotlight, where we do Lauren's take, your real with Christina, Sappy thoughts with Kath, Amy's current crisis, exposing Lisa's past, and Danny's love-hate list. Today's Sister Spotlight is Lauren. And this is Lauren's take.
I just want to say,
Thank you all.
TM Danny Cimorelli for making up the spotlight thing. If you're watching
Love
the
it.
video and not being a reader, then you would know what we're doing, and it's great.
All right, so these questions for Lauren's take come from our patrons. Hey, guys. So you get the privilege
Hey.
of asking Lauren questions. I feel like it kind of evolved a little because it used to be more like asking Lauren the magic 8-ball / oracle. But now it's kind of people just want to ask you questions about yourself. So, you know,
Yeah,
still
they
good,
wanna
still
know
good info.
You wanna know this guy.
But if you want to know the oracle, next time you can ask more of those questions too. Okay, so number one from Meg. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Oh, okay. If I'm desperate, I'll eat it, but I would
Girl.
never do it on purpose.
A hot topic. For
I would
real.
say that's a no.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite meal from Angie?
Favorite meal? It depends on what I'm craving. But generally I like more healthy stuff actually. Like
Whatever.
I don't really like a lot of like butter or like things that make me feel like I'm gonna hurt my intestines. So I don't know. Like, okay. A chicken and vegetables, but like not like plain chicken vegetables, like Greek chicken and vegetables, like a Tuscan kind of thing.
Yes.
That's a good
She's
one.
a classy woman.
Whoa.
All right.
Salmon. It's salmon.
Ooh. All right. Yeah, Lauren makes some really good meals, I have to
Thank
say.
you.
When she
You
comes
never
into
eaten them.
our band meetings, no, I can smell them.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
heats them up, and I'm like, ooh, what's that
girl.
smell? It's fantastic.
Girl.
Okay. Next one's from Kayla. What are your 3 biggest strengths?
Ooh.
Time to brag.
Biceps, triceps, quads.
Okay, I would say my ability to like put myself in other people's shoes,
Oh, yeah.
like understand how other people are feeling, is one.
Empathy, is that what that is?
I guess yeah,
Yeah, it's
that
empathy.
being honest with people, being
Ah.
able, but in a diplomatic way. That's a great
Hmm.
strength. I can tell
Yeah.
people the real truth
Mm-hmm.
generally without offending them, which
Oh.
is good. And then also, I guess my most treasured trait of myself is just my own mental strength, because I've been through it, and I really know my own mind and how it works and how to like get myself through a lot of things. So
I most
It's like,
that.
it's like resilience, kind of.
I guess
mental resilience.
Yeah.
but it's like knowing
said-
thyself.
My most treasured trait. Is that what you said?
Yes.
My most treasured
Lauren,
trait.
little talent.
What a guy.
Okay, here's a good one from Dana. How did you learn to accept being an introvert?
Oh,
I'm curious.
really through seeing other people, I think, who are introverts, not Lisa,
Me.
and like people that I saw myself in, and seeing definitely not Lisa, and seeing how like I really liked them and how other people really liked them, and then I was like, wow, it made me feel more like, oh, I can just be me, and people will like it because people like this person, they're a lot like me. And also, just on this journey of self-acceptance in general, just made me realize, like, it's not my job to be what anyone wants me to be. Like, if people want to talk to me and I don't want to talk, like, that's not my problem. I don't have to do
True.
that.
Well, I think that leads really well into our next question. How to be as savage as you, from Victoria.
Oh, everyone wants to know this.
Give us
I
a
don't
training
know
lesson,
what
Laura.
that means.
Stems from
Like,
your honesty.
yeah, I don't
Give
know.
us the tea.
I
Never
think, okay, I think you just have to be confident in what you're saying and just be honest.
Love it.
Love it. All right. I really like this last question. It's very creative. With access to all possible ingredients, what 3-course meal would you want to tackle from one master chef to another? From Devin.
Ooh. Like your dream.
He's saying he's a master chef.
Yes.
And I am.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, this is an interesting question.
Wait, what?
So you got access
what
to any ingredient.
3-course
Three-course
meal would
meal.
I make?
3 course. That's a lot. That's too
Okay.
No, it's not.
Let me just make something up.
It's a
really
main and
quick.
2
Lauren's
sides.
got it.
Okay, a main and 2 sides. I would do.
Or you can do
Or an
dessert.
appetizer.
No, it's an
Let
appetizer,
Lauren's
entree, and
take.
dessert.
My
Yeah,
take.
that also makes sense.
Yeah.
Is
Lauren's
it Amy's take? I didn't
Lauren's
hear that.
interpretation.
Okay, I would do some salmon, some like lemon kind of vibes on the salmon, and then I would do some kind of like Brussels sprout thing, probably like roasted,
those
like
sprouts.
balsamic, maybe with some brown sugar.
Oof. Yummy.
I need one more app.
Side or app?
App.
I guess it doesn't
That
matter.
was the side.
Oh, I
I
totally
need
didn't
the app
listen.
now. I need something a little spicy. Ooh, you know what would be good is scallops.
Yes.
Oh,
I
I'm
don't
allergic to
know.
scallops.
I don't know how I'd prepare them though.
Scallops.
I don't know if that's too much seafood in one though.
I don't think they're that hard.
Scallops
your meal.
over like potato based kind of
Oh,
mash
yum.
kinda
Butter.
thing.
Oh, wait, you don't like butter. I was
I
thinking
do,
of butter
but
and
not
potatoes
in
and scallops.
That ain't
large
right.
amount.
Don't scallops give you rashes?
Yeah, I can't have them.
All right, guys,
I
that
like the
was
taste.
Lauren's take.
Take.
Not Catherine's or Amy's. or even Lisa's.
I was just trying to help.
All right.
Shut your yap.
Girl.
Okay, that concludes our sister spotlight. Get ready for next week where you'll see, I don't remember who, but I
Ooh,
think it's
a mystery.
Lisa.
Mm.
Actually,
girl.
maybe not.
I think it might be me.
Someone.
I got nothing. I don't know which
Guaranteed
one.
one of us.
One of us.
At least
It's guaranteed to be one of these lads. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. We'll see you in next week's episode. And since you're Patreon, then you're going to see it on Patreon a week before YouTube. I'm just trying to tell
A week
I was
you.
before
trying to do
YouTube.
the same phrase
Oh.
as you.
Me too.
Yeah,
Patreon, you're going to get this a week
week
early
early.
than
Too
YouTube.
fast.
I don't think they'll get
A
it.
week, New York.
Okay.
So you guys are special. You get an extra episode. No, you get 2 extra episodes every single month.
Ooh.
And you get all of the YouTube episodes a week before
early.
the general public.
Love that. Love
So thanks, Patreon. You guys
Love
are
that.
awesome. All right, guys, that's the Cimorelli Podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for waiting. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli Podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat.